Hi there, Beer Can Cold Nation. Today's episode is brought to you by Praxis. Everybody talks about the goal: more profit, more growth, more wins. But here's the reality. As average ticket prices climb, it's becoming more important than ever to stay organized and run real systems inside your business. Because the truth is this, the process is just as important as the goal. That's why we partnered with Praxis Software, built around one simple idea: the winning process made simple. From the owner all the way to the newest employee in your team, every business needs proven processes to build a winning culture. Praxis HVAC sales and pricing tool creates consistent pricing, improved product knowledge, and develop team members into confident professionals. And when your people are confident and your pricing is consistent, your business runs better, period. If you're ready to stop guessing and start running a real operation, call Marty and the guys at Praxis today at 678-680-5926. Again, that's 678-680-5926. Or visit them at praxisgroupinc.com. You can also find the direct link in the show notes. Praxis Software, because the process is just as important as the goal.
Welcome back to the Beer Can Cold podcast, and welcome to our special guest, Kerry Webb. Take it away, boys.
I don't know why it's cutting.
That's a good one.
I'm gonna have to go edit again.
That's
what happens.
That's reminiscent of the TV commercial we filmed at Barrico like 10 years ago, and we were clowns beating on the air conditioner. Like, the premise was don't hire clowns to repair your air conditioner. So we dressed up as clowns, and we're out there beating on the units, simulated beating on the units.
Speaking of Barrico, good friend, mutual friend Kerry texted me today. He needed some help, so it was good.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I always think of Will in that dress promoting good old Barrico.
Scarlett O'Hara.
Whatever it takes. Whatever it takes.
220, 221, whatever it takes.
So welcome, everybody. As you can see, this is going to be a fun one today. It's not very often that you get to have your mentor, one of the mentors, on, and so I'm pretty excited today to have Kerry on with us. I learned a lot more from Kerry than I did a lot of people in this industry, I think, and so Kerry, we're just excited to have you on today.
Thanks, JJ. You're one of my favorite people in the industry, and I'm excited to get to be on here with you and Will. And
nice.
Will's become a good friend this year, and looking forward to knowing him better.
We're growing, relationship growing. We'll talk offline. We need to probably catch up via phone the next day or two, just chit chat.
Yes, sir.
See where we're at and everything. All's good.
No, it's good. And it's like, Kerry, I was just telling Will before you came on, is that last week we had on Philip Scoff from Dyken, a good friend that I met in Scotland. Yeah. And it's funny how the TikToks took off, but I noticed the comments, and one of the comments is like, what does these three guys know that's never left an office? I was like, let me send you pictures.
I beg to differ. Granted, I'm not out there under a house or in an attic 24/7, but I'm out in the field a lot, assisting, helping, learning, mentoring, learning.
I used to be an addict.
You were, more than me.
I tell people, JG, my PhD is in plumbing, heating, and ductwork. So
there you go. Oh yeah.
That I thought the comments. I love the comments, man.
I don't guys in white shirts that never left the office.
Yes. No, we're good. It's okay. And one of my techs in a meeting the other day too, he got kind of huffy with me or something, and he was like, "It's nice in that office is 72 degrees." I'm like, "Bubba, then I done paid my dues." Man, you were not even a thought with your mom and dad, and I wasn't that. We've done it. We paid our dues. It's okay to move on. So, in that vein, Kerry, tell us a little bit about yourself, because you have just a great past and so forth. So, tell us a little bit about you.
Thanks, JG. I've been really blessed because, I started a couple of doctoral programs and taught MBA students for almost 30 years. And so I've been in the business of teaching people business. Okay. But about almost 20 years ago, I got asked by a CEO to come in and do a boot camp, create a boot camp for HVAC owners. So I got introduced to the industry and
yeah.
fell in love with these guys. I mean, like, these are country guys. I'm from the country. You know, they tell you they're going to do something. They do it.
Yeah.
They ask you to come out and do some work for them. You send them an invoice. They always pay you. They don't bellyache about it. They thank you and tell their friends, you should have this guy, man. He helped us.
Yeah.
So I've been really blessed to have worked with, gosh, man, over 300 companies by this time. To know by name, you know, over 2,000 technicians, and to have learned a lot from these technicians.
Yeah.
Right. Never think anybody can't teach you something, because I guarantee you, if you got an open mind, almost everybody can teach something.
Sure.
And I've learned a lot from being in this industry.
You know, Kerry, you were our business coach for a little while until things until paths crossed and changed and whatever. But I know the one thing that I talked to the brothers about, because we're going to reconnect in the future, is like the accountability that you brought to our group, right? Because I would meet with you and the brothers, and we would sit down, and the accountability is what we enjoyed, right? Because when you get
at
to
least two of the brothers,
yes. He watches. I'm gonna watch.
Be careful. Be careful.
Yeah, that's good. He'll know which one I'm talking about.
He'll laugh about it, but it's like, you know, it was, those meetings were good because yes, you get to a point where you can always learn something, but the day-to-day operations and procedures is there, they're in place and so forth. But it's the accountability, because to be honest, to be a general manager, be an owner, there's so many plates spinning that you sometimes forget, and one starts wobbling, right? And it was so good.
Absolutely.
And I always talked about why you need a business coach. You definitely need a business coach. You need a third party that can keep you accountable. And I guess that kind of leads into my first kind of little topic here, is like, why does companies get stuck?
Wow, that's a great question. So I think you just nailed it in that, you know, they get so distracted by so many things, right? And the more we grow, the more our weaknesses get exposed. They get bigger and bigger.
That's a great line.
So I think a lot of what I do, I think of myself like a baseball manager, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's not teaching these guys how to play baseball. They know how to play baseball. He's noticing, hey, have you noticed you're changing your footwork here? Hey, I've noticed you're dropping your shoulder. He's able to pay attention to all of those items because he's not personally doing it. That's the benefit. If I was doing it, I would get sucked into the cyclone just probably as quickly as the owner or the GM or whoever, right?
Well, and the misconception is that, well, I'm plateauing because my revenue is not growing. Your revenue can grow, but you can plateau. You can plateau in your processes. It's like quicksand. You see your revenue grow, but you're not understanding why not enough of it's ending up in the bank, right?
100%. Your gross margin is what's going to kill you. And sometimes having your revenue grow too much, man, it could be the worst thing because it covers up a bunch of sins, like not pricing correctly and, you know, not charging, not doing 3 options as, you know, you ought to do on every call: service call, maintenance call, replacement call. Talking with techs today, I said, guys, how many options do you do on your maintenances? They're like, what? I said, on a maintenance call, how many? We don't do options on maintenance calls. I'm like, so if you go on a maintenance call, that home has every option, that system is running the best it could. They don't need any air cleaner, any improved air filtration, no surge protection, no hards, nothing. Well, we wait till it breaks. I'm like, why? But what if the customer wanted it now? So, you know, it's just, we get caught up in the business, and sometimes the little things escape us.
You know, and you're right about that because, and I'm sorry, well, I'm passionate today, so I'm gonna talk a lot. So you're just gonna have to tell me shut up. But
I'm just saving up. Settle down. I'm good.
I sometimes forget there's 2 of us, Kerry. No, but you know, like we, and I just said this on a previous podcast too. We're changing that philosophy a little bit with our PM guys, and I think that you will agree with what I'm saying, is we're not saying don't offer the option. It's like, how do you offer these options? Because we're trying to go away from this sell heavy all the time. Just
Absolutely.
talk to them about it if you see there's a need. But what we're trying to get back to is our technicians focusing on actually fixing things and maintaining things. Because what we found out is, how our structure work, we had that young guys coming in the PM department, and they click on to the sales piece of it, and not I'm there to clean coils, I'm there to look at contactors. So Travis, he switched his approach with those guys a little bit, and we're having actually better success because the guys talk to the homeowners in a different way and just give the option. You don't have to do this today, but I'm just telling you, this is available, and it's working. It really is.
And JG, one of the things I've seen is, talking to guys' hearts. We assume these guys don't have a heart. They all have a heart. They're married. They have kids. They care about people. And I don't know why anybody would think they don't.
Yeah.
But when we start talking about core values, but now I like to call them core beliefs, because beliefs drive behavior. Yeah. So I say, if your core beliefs are right, how can you not tell a customer about something that would benefit their family?
Yeah.
And then guys are like, well, heck yeah, I agree with that. Okay, well then now let's talk about it from that perspective. People can see through us. And if we're just trying to sell, they see it. Yeah. If our heart's right, they see it.
That's right.
So let's just get our heart right, get our head right, and help people have the most comfortable home they can have, right? Yeah. And if they don't want it, guess what? It's okay. It doesn't matter to me. It's your house. I'm just telling you.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Getting back a little bit to the owners, where do owners tend to misdiagnose their problems?
Number one place I see is in service pricing. If the service pricing is wrong, I automatically assume a whole lot of other things are wrong, JG. And I'm not surprised when I hear guys say, I haven't really raised my service prices in 2 years. I'm like, do you realize that your vendors are raising your prices every month? Mm-hmm. Hey, McDonald's raises prices every month. They have for 20 years. Yeah. They just do it on different products. Yeah. And I'm like, you're getting killed if you're not keeping up with your service pricing, at least your top 100 items that you sell, right? So that's a big piece. The other part, I think, is not giving guys a target to shoot at. And I found when guys have an average ticket, it's too, I don't know if the right word's esoteric, it's too vague.
Yes,
but right. When I can say to them, look, for me to be happy with your performance, I need $5,500 a week. You can get it through service. You can get it through maintenance agreements. You can sell an air scrubber. I don't care. We need $5,500. You know what? Most guys will get up there and bust it to beat that number.
Yeah.
And it's just giving people something to shoot at.
And in today's service business, $5,500 is nothing.
Exactly.
It really is nothing.
Yeah.
And it, we had that conversation with our techs where we sat them down and said, guys, we're not always pushing you to get more money out of the customer. However, what homeowners need to understand as well, what did I do the math? A $28 an hour tech costs you about $110,000 a year.
Yeah.
In salary, in insurance, in truck take home, in all these things. So that technician has to generate about 3 times that amount for the company to be viable, right?
Yeah.
So, and if you break those numbers down, so you're like, oh, a technician has to make $350,000 a year or bring in $350,000 a year. It's like, okay, hold on. Just do the math on $5,500 a week and see where that brings you, right? And it's like the math is mathing and it works. Yeah. So you eat an elephant a bite at a time.
JG, I had a good old boy down in Houston. He taught me this. He said, Kerry, it's real simple. He said, all these KPIs, and this guy's really smart, but he acts like he's not. He's like, I don't know if I can remember all these KPIs, but I'm going to tell you one I know works. I said, what's that, Gary? He said, I tell my guys, if you're worth your salt, you're going to have 66 people this year that decide to buy new equipment because you educated them right. Yes. And he said, if my guys end up flipping 66 leads that sell, they make money, I make money, and our customers are happy because everybody loves having new equipment, right? It's expensive, but like my new truck, I'm excited to have a new vehicle. Sure. But here's what he did. This so sneaky guy grew by $1.5 million every year like clockwork for 20 years straight. And he said that was his main thing. Just give me 66 change out per tech.
Yeah,
so, it's just, you got to be consistent.
And that balance is important. That's a culture conversation. We did with 12 technicians last month, 72 turnovers.
Wow.
But it's like having that serious conversation, though, because these guys still want to fix things too. They see that homeowner that's not going to have air for the next day or so until we can put it. So it's like making sure they understand a 10-year-old system or older probably should have, even if you do the repair, give the turnover, right? Yeah, but 72 turnovers out of 13 technicians last month, and that's kind of the average. And so now you have to balance, right? Because if you're truly looking at their truck revenue and you're looking at their weekly, $5,500 a week, you have to have a little bit of is it levity is the right word? I don't know. You have to look at the numbers in such a way to say, okay, wait a minute, he handed in 10 leads that he could have done repairs on, right? So let's look at the whole thing.
Yeah. I bet you, JG, if you added up all their service costs, they still repaired over 80% of their units, which is what it should be.
Yeah,
I bet they didn't replace more than 15, 16, 18% of them.
Yeah.
And those were probably the ones that were over 12, 15 years old.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah. These HVAC technicians, and I'll say the same for plumbers and electricians, they're good people. They just want to take care of people. And if anything, they go to the side of not telling people stuff they could have because they don't want to seem salesy.
Right.
Yeah. But in reality, I think the customer gets their heart. And when you're just trying to help them, I think they know it.
That's right. That big word accountability that we talked about in the beginning of the episode. Let's talk a little bit about what's that?
Can you spell that for us?
ACCOUNT, because I haven't written that. ChatGPT wrote it out.
What's ChatGPT?
I have no clue.
I'm kidding.
It's the first assistant I have. So when we look at accountability with technicians, I think it looks a little bit different, and I think that's where one-on-ones come in a lot, right? And individual coaching instead of group accountability. I don't like the word group accountability. You want to talk a little bit about that?
So one of the things I've seen is when service managers will, again, act like a baseball coach, right? Get out in the field. They coach their guys and they perform way better when you're in the truck with them. Mm-hmm. And if you've got 10 techs, then that means you probably need to ride with 2 a week, right? If you're going to get around to see everybody once a month. But here's the secret. When we're with the guys, we need to be looking for what they're doing right. Man, I love the way you swung at that ball. Man, I love the way you fielded that. And give them one thing they can improve. So that way they don't dread you riding with them. They're mostly feeling like, hey man, my coach is going to come tell me how good I'm doing. I want to give him my best, performance, and then he's going to help me get better. It's not that different from coaching athletes.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, they are athletes. Just a different kind,
Yeah, exactly. Right? Exactly.
So I have a funny story here. So my son works in our service department, and he's young, but he learned his trade from a friend of mine and then moved to us when some circumstances changed. And my truck was in the shop and he had to bring me home. Well, on the way home, we grabbed the coal, and the old ARS vibes started kicking in, right? And I'm in the passenger seat, now I'm trying to be not dad, but trying to be manager, ride along guy, right? So needless to say, we came home, didn't talk to me at dinner that night. And the next day he walked into the office and walked up to the service manager and said, I would prefer if the general manager does not do ride-alongs anymore. Because it was like, he pulled in the driveway. I'm like, why are you pulling in the driveway? Well, so my truck's closer to the unit when I fix it. I'm like, well, what if the truck leaks oil? What if the homeowner comes home and wants to park here? Well, what do you want me to do? Park on the street. Yeah. It's like he walks up, rings the doorbell. I'm like, wait a minute. What if there was a baby sleeping in the house? You should knock on the door. Dude, by the time he had to go troubleshoot the unit, I had him so frustrated that I was like, yeah, this is
Let me add him, JG. Let me add him.
This is not what I should be doing. And he's a great tech, for his age. But it's like, okay, my coaching one-on-one shouldn't be what I used to do. And so we're going to focus on some soft skill stuff, but he was not impressed.
Will, can you imagine doing this in front of your dad and having your dad not Yeah. And I will. I don't think I'd do that.
I will say though, I misdiagnosed that he was right on it. So it would have been a callback on me if I was the one running the call. So he's much better than I ever was. But the point being that young generation didn't learn some of the things we did because they're just this generation is different. The service heart and the service mindset needs to really be taught because you don't pull in a driveway. You stop on the street if you can, if it's safe, those types of things. And it's like just having those conversations because the guys have never heard that. The young guys.
Yeah.
Just the little things, That's what
It
we've
is.
all learned over a lot of times. All these little things that add up to big things that make impact, and those are just little, like I said, the 101s.
Yep. Accountability with a leadership team, having really tough and hard conversations, Kerry. That's a big one, man. And some of the conversations we've had to have and so forth. It's like how do you make that easier? How do you navigate those waters better?
That's a great question. So again, I think a lot of it comes back to having pride in your company, pride in your uniform, and just saying, guys, we all have an expectation. Our goal is to make money and treat people right and be around. And if we're losing money, we won't be around. If we don't treat people right, we won't be around. So, that's why we have to do these things. And we have a playbook and we expect you to follow it. And every tech that comes to my house should wear their 4 savers. Every one of them should knock on my door. Every one of them should step back 2 feet before I come to the door. Every one of them should tell me their name, the company, and who am I? Am I Mr. Webb? Okay, great. They're here to help me. Like I should get that same experience with just a different face, a different energy, a different personality, but the steps should feel familiar.
That's
right. And that's, every business in the world believes in that. Even as bad as they are, you can't suit up for the Dallas Cowboys and run the plays you want the way you want. They still have an expectation of, how you're going to play the game.
Yeah, absolutely. So culture and leadership, we talk about it a lot on this show. What does a strong culture look like in a service industry business?
Number one thing I look for is, are guys laughing when they come to the tech meetings? Are they coming in somber and serious, or are they laughing? If they are laughing, that group of guys, they are open, they're growing, they're trying to get better. You can tease with them, you can throw the numbers up. But if they're all serious and looking down at the table,
not happy.
Not happy, that they're going to treat your customers like the same.
Yep. That culture, gosh, Kerry, we talk about it so often, and it's any business, but I think it's paramount in this industry from a service company that the people have a good culture.
100%. So I was at a shop 2 weeks ago, and they were throwing darts, which is a big thing. I see you got a dartboard, JJ. I'm big on that, right? Mm-hmm. And so I gave them a little challenge. I said, look, you guys need more reviews. Why don't you give 2 darts per review for a week? And let's see if one of their techs got 38 reviews in 1 week.
Yep.
But wow. you do the math on that. Mm-hmm. You do the math on that. He was actually contacting old customers, getting reviews. He was getting reviews everywhere he could, right? But they had fun. And then some guys would stand at the line, and then some guys would walk all the way to the door at the back of the room to throw. And I'm like, why are they doing that? They go, oh, you get triple points if you throw from the doorway. It's just making it fun, right?
Yes. Yep.
When work is fun, guys work harder.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Play hard, work hard.
Yep. No, I agree. And I'm starting to go away a little bit. Like, we like to think of our company as a family atmosphere and so forth. But, I think that it gets a little cliche when you're like, we're family. No, we're really not. We're coworkers that's going to be here and spend a lot of time together. So why don't we, because I'm telling you that I like some of my friends better than some of my family.
Well, if you were family, if you were in my family, there would be guys that somebody would be pulling off the belt and whooping their.
That's what I'm getting at.
Like that's family too. I actually talked to a GM that told me, he said, don't tell anybody, but I actually pulled off my belt and spanked one of my tags. And I'm like, oh my! He said it wasn't this year. It wasn't this year.
I was going to say,
holy crap!
He said, you know what? He never did it again. He never talked back to me in a meeting again. And he said, the guy's still here. He's one of my top techs. But I wouldn't recommend it. I got lucky. I'm like, you got lucky.
Yeah.
Lucky.
Well, that's how we grew up. You know, you get paddled at school and got in trouble, then you got it worse when you got home.
Exactly.
Oh yeah.
Go get a switch.
Yep.
You know?
So I don't think we want it to be a family, but a team, yes.
Yes.
So we don't let each other down. And so if one guy has to do it, we all have to do it because that's what our team does, and that's how we roll.
That's right.
I really think pride is a very important thing in business for people to be proud of where they work.
Yep.
And customers like it. If you say, I love where I work, let me tell you why I like it. That customer is guaranteed going to give you a good review.
That's
They're
right.
gonna feel good about you. Yeah.
No, I agree. And you know, the pride thing for me goes even a little, like, I grew up in South Africa, went to boarding school, right? And so the jacket and the tie every day, and an opposing school didn't touch your jacket. They don't touch your tie. There'll be blood spilled, right? So it's like creating that sense of, around this logo, we all, you know, we might have our differences behind the scenes, but we all pull in the same direction when it comes to this. And I think that's the biggest part of building proper culture, is to understand this is not a big old family. This is best friends at work. We might not hang out afterwards, but best friends at work, and we're going to pull to the same common goal.
Yep.
And that's why the EOS thing has been so important. It's like identifying those goals, identifying those rocks, and then having your core values, right? And I'll tell you the core value thing and how big it is in culture, because if you need to reprimand somebody or write somebody up or praise somebody, we revert to the core values first. Have they adhere to these 7 things of ours? And if the answer is yes, then it's great. Then they should be praised, bonuses should be given. Or are they falling short on some things, and then we need to coach? Yeah. And I think that's a big part of the culture, is to actually know what you believe and stand for it.
You know, it's a lot easier just to complain about it, though, JJ.
Oh yeah,
to be honest.
Much.
Right? It's
Boy, were you in our offices about an hour ago when we had this conversation?
So about 3 weeks ago, I told a GM, I said, "Look, why don't you just write this gal up, and either we'll escalate her performance or we'll escalate her departure." And so he said, and I said, but don't write her up on what she's doing wrong. Write her up on what she should be doing, and let's see if she wants to do it. JG, in 2 weeks, she's a top performer.
Yeah.
In 2 weeks. And she's like, well, I kind of knew that's what I was supposed to be doing, but nobody seemed to be talking about it. Nobody was talking to me about it. Nobody seemed upset about it. So why should I put out the extra effort? But if you're going to let me go, I mean, I guess I'll do it. Yeah. And yeah, I just think we don't realize how much people need a specific target.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think of marketing, you know, Will's got it's different people with different skills, and probably all of his people couldn't be the best at every skill he needs.
Sure.
Right. But some techs could be the best at reviews. Some could be the best at maintenances. Some could be the best at selling IAQ. My thing is, let's find out what they're the best at. And if they're great at left field, keep them in left field. Yeah. If they're great at pitching, let them pitch. Yeah. But instead, we say everybody needs to do all of this, and that's probably not realistic.
Yeah. Well, let's hang on one second. Let's go back to what you just said. I'm thinking about this, about instead of like if someone say underperforming, technicians just not, like you said, they're not average tickets low, they're not getting reviews, you know, whatever the case may be, or combination of. So you're bringing them in, and I just want to repeat this, and you tell me more. Instead of saying write them up on what they're doing wrong, write them up on what they need to be doing.
Yes.
Is that correct?
100%.
Okay.
100%.
I like that.
I was taught early on, Will, if you have to correct somebody, never do it at the end of the day, because all you do is you send them home sad and discouraged. Do it first thing in the morning. And then the last thing you say to them is, I know you're better than this.
Yeah.
Show me who you are.
That's awesome.
In other words, give me that challenge.
Yeah.
And most everybody that's worth their salt, they want to live up to it.
Yeah. Sure.
Right? They'll step up. And so I think that's a big piece of where we fall short is guys don't really know what it is that we want. And we're the owners are thinking, well, they should know. No, they'd be an owner if they knew.
That's right.
They don't know. We have to sit down and repeatedly remind them. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to. I'm thinking about implementing this thing that when you hand out the PIP, the Performance Improvement Plan, you hand out mandatory reading of the Energy Bus, 10 Rules to Fuel Your Life, written
Ooh.
by John Gordon, because I'm telling you how many we're struggling with some negativity on our office right now. And I'm like, I'm just going to make it mandatory reading. Well, I don't read. I'm sorry. There's 50 pages in this book. You can do this tonight. Come see me in the morning, right? And it's like a great book, right? And it's like it's written like it's a child's story. Why don't you go ahead? And why that stuck with me so much. And I don't know the foosball like you guys do. I'm a rugby guy, but when the Atlanta Falcons had that run, when that coach came in, wherever he was, he made that book mandatory for the whole team because there was so much negativity, and that book turned the entire organization around from management down. And it's like, it's just a mindset, guys. You can be the guy that kicks your tires because it's flat, or you can be the guy saying, hey, let's change the tire and move forward, right? And so I think that's a big part of it. It's like, I'm going to start doing some of this positive, like, you're right. Don't write up everything I did wrong. Write up the pit properly. This is what we expect of you. And by the way, we need you to finish this book in a week. Then come back and let's see where we are, right? And I think that's you're doing personal development at the same time.
100%. Had a guy leave a sales team a couple weeks ago, and he called me the Thursday before, and he's like, "Man, I'm not making enough money." And I'm like, "Why not?" And he's like, "Well, I'm managing the team. I only get half my income from my salary, and the other half I'm supposed to get from sales. But I said, well, are you not making any sales? Well, I'm not going to any sales. I want you to pay me a higher salary." And I said, well, I don't think that was the deal that was struck. I mean, the deal struck was you'd get half for doing, sales because you're the number one sales guy, right? At least that's what you tell us. And then half for the salary. Well, he didn't like that very much.
Mm.
And so he called a couple other people, got the same answer. Long story short, next morning, GM comes in and his truck is there with the keys and all his materials are gone. He's like, "I'm moving on to greener pastures." Okay. All right, no problem. The next week, the remaining sales team sold triple what they had sold in any week so far this year.
He was the bottleneck.
He was so negative and always telling everybody what they were doing wrong and why they weren't as good as him. And I think that's why he never went on any calls. Because if he failed, he knew they were going to call him out on it. So he just never put himself in that position. Now they've got a guy in there who's rallying the troops and saying, "Come on, guys, we can do it." And they don't even have a manager, and they're crushing their goals.
Yeah.
It's how do we communicate? What's the energy bus that we are giving to one another?
Yeah,
that's right.
Communicate and motivate.
That's right.
Sir. Yes, sir.
So let's switch gears just a little bit. I want to do some practical takeaways with you, Kerry, because this is something you're so good at. And so I want to talk first. So we know when I was with the software company, we did a lot of research, paid a lot of people to do a lot of research on this industry, and very quickly found out what I could have told them, and they could have probably gave me the money. But it's like the whole thing of like 65% of this industry is 5 people or less, right? So 500,000 to $1 million company, if they're really good, right? So if I'm like I'm like $1.5 million to $2 million company, what should I be focusing on right now?
Oh boy, that is a great question. First thing that you got to focus on, every call I go on should give me 2 more calls to go on. Now think about that. If every call I go on gives me 2 more calls to go on, my business is going to keep growing. I don't have a problem. So how do you do it? Well, you've got to, number one, make a great first impression, give people great service, make them feel like they got what they paid for. Even if it was expensive, they got what they paid for, right? They got good service, great service. And then at the very end, you say, "Hey, did I give you 5-star service? Did I meet your expectations?" Well, yeah, you did. Would you do me a favor? This is where you get your next 2 calls. I'm going to give you 4 business cards, 5 if you really push me, but 4 to give to your favorite friends and family. If they have air conditioning, I'd like you to give it to them so that they can get that same kind of service. Wow. And you know what the studies show? The average person is going to give away 2, if not 3 of those. That's your 2 more customers. And they'll do it within the next year. So something as simple as that. I worked with an accounting firm and they were terrible at marketing. They didn't know marketing. And they had been stuck at 3 million. And I said, "Guys, every one of you accountants has to give out 5 business cards a month. And at the end of the month, I want a card with the names of the people you gave them to.
Yeah.
I don't care who it is. It could be a restaurant manager, grocery store, whatever. They grew another $1 million that year. And
Yeah.
all they did was 5 business cards a month.
Yeah.
Not even per call. And that just proved to me just the simplest little tool like that, we overlook it. And if we're not doing that well, guys, then that's why we're kind of stuck, because we're not even doing the ABCs yet.
You know, one thing I never hear anybody kind of tell these guys starting out, and you could tell me if I'm wrong, if this is too much or whatever, but I would think that if I were to go out today and start, one thing I would do is the word SOP, right? Well, it's only me in the truck. Why do I need to write everything or write SOPs? We're living in an age where you can go to ChatGPT and say, I have to go pick up equipment at the supply house. This is what it looks like. These are the steps that needs to be followed. Write me an SOP and save it. And the reason I think that is super important is if you do a job properly, like, you have compassion for your customers, your pricing is right, you're doing good work, you're going to grow very quickly. Now you have to hire somebody. So you can spend half your time coaching, or you can say, hey, man, here's 5 SOPs on how I do these 5 things. If you would read through here, this is a guide that would help you, jump into the next thing. And I think that is kind of part of the lay the foundation stuff that we don't talk to guys starting their companies fresh, because it's all in their head. And then they get to 4 or 5 million, and now they can't go on vacation. They can't do anything because everything lives in their head. And I'm like, if you just started from day one writing those SOPs or just creating something that you can hand off, that would be a huge win.
So think about this. I'm going to put on my thinking hat, right? I'm a thinking hat here. All right. So think about this. Everything that comes to us falls into one of 3 buckets. It's either a fire we got to fight.
Mm-hmm.
It's either an operational thing that I've got to do, just like unlocking the door, turn off the alarm, turn on, pay the light bill, operational stuff, or it's producing more revenue. And what we do is when we get to 2, 3, 4 million, we have a lot more fires to fight. People not doing what they're supposed to, customers unhappy, parts not coming in, all that, bills to pay. So we get caught up in firefighting. That kills us. Firefighting puts no money in the bank.
That's right.
Second thing is, if we have too many operational things to do, we get busy doing that. So we feel like we're doing something productive. But the truth is, the number 3, the production, if we will spend 50% of our time every day on production, I'm helping this tech do better. I'm helping this guy sell better. I'm getting a better price. I'm upgrading my price book. If we spent 50% on production and divide our other 50% between fires and operations, we would be unstoppable.
Yeah.
Nobody would stop us, because just the cause we have, JG, I can tell you almost any contractor I talk to, there's another $1 million they can make between now and December without running one more call.
Yeah.
Running one more call. It's just focus on the production.
We're tightening up processes, and we're seeing it on the P&L. And it's not big things.
Yeah.
Just buy better.
Yeah.
Be more efficient in buying. Like it's insane when, because you grow, and as an owner, you grow and you see these things and you get excited and there's money in the bank and it's fine. You're not understanding what's eating your lunch out the back.
That's right.
And it's crazy. Now that kind of leads them to our next question, right? I hear this story a lot, is that, man, I'm doing everything right. My P&L is where it needs to be. My gross, I do really well in net, but I cannot break through this $5 million barrier. $5 million seems to be a very big barrier to break. What do you say to somebody like that? He's been stuck at 5 million for 3 years. How does he break that piece of it?
So it's really pretty simple. It's easier than guys think, right? So it's all a numbers game, right? It's like a recipe. If you told me it was time to make a chocolate cake, I'd know automatically we need some flour, we need some eggs, we need some water, a little bit of vegetable. There's certain things you got to have, right? And if I'm going to break 5 million, one thing I know is I need over 2,000 maintenance agreements. Mm-hmm. If I go out and get maintenance agreements, those people are going to call me again. I don't have to go get new customers. Second thing, I need a certain number of technicians. So $5 million, that means probably 3.5 is replacements, maybe $1.5 million is service. $1.5 million, I do the math. I know how many service calls I got to run a year. How many techs do I have to run those maintenances and service calls? So I built the model. And then the other thing is I have CSRs, and this is going to blow your mind. I had several branches this year already in the first 4 months have doubled their service revenue by telling their CSRs, you have to make 60 outbound calls a day, not just your 20 or 30 inbounds that come.
We do it. Yep.
You have to use cold information and make 60 outbound calls and just ask them, when was the last time they had a tune-up? Would they like to get their system tuned up? Would they like to get it clean and have lower bills this summer? Hey, we got an opening. Could we schedule it?
Yeah.
Just by having their girls make 60 of those calls a day, it took them less than 2 hours per CSR, doubled their service revenue.
Yeah.
Service went from being in the red to being in the black in probably the worst months of the year.
Is that a rotational thing? Like you pick one each day does that?
Nope. Every day, everyone does.
Every day,
they pick 2 hours a day. So there's always somebody doing outbounding while the others are doing inbounding, except from like 8 to 9.
Yeah, but you rotate during the day. One person.
Yes, yes, sir.
I've heard other companies talk about doing that.
I wouldn't have thought it would have made that big a difference. I was shocked when I looked at the numbers.
Wow.
Well, and it was across 10 branches. It made the difference on all of them.
I want to give you a report back because me and you were talking forever about restructuring our PM program. We did. Went down to 2 instead of having multiple and so forth.
12 or whatever.
But we restructured it. We're averaging 140 new a month. We did 185 last month.
That's great.
Now what we're doing is we're also going back, and I hired a person that I've known for a long time. She's great and she's absolutely awesome. She came in, and we're still working through some Service Titan familiarity, but she will own PMs only. That will be her world. And so she's already starting to, if somebody doesn't renew or reschedule or whatever, she's on the phone. Hey, can we help? Is there? And so we were a little nervous because we have a plan that was very lucrative to us and kind of spendy. And in our area, people were signing up for it. We were very afraid of migration away from that plan to the cheaper plan. It's not been a problem.
Right.
It's happening some, but yeah, we are growing. And so we're going to achieve our goals. The problem I have now is getting enough PM techs trained up and buying vans. Those are the 2 issues I struggle with now. And it's like, getting the young guys up and ready to go. And Travis is pulling his hair out. He's trying his best.
Give you an idea? Can I give you, I'm giving you an idea I stole from somebody else.
Yes.
Right. Take 2 of those PM techs that have a little bit different lifestyles and ask them if they would share a van and turn it into a 84-hour-a-week van. They work 4 days on, 4 days off, and that van runs every single day of the week.
Oh, that's a great idea. What we actually did do is the guys that goes to school with us in the morning, because we pay for the guys at Alamance. We have 3 of them to come in. They're at community college. We pay for their education. So I have class from 8 to 12, and then they run from 12 to 8. So now we're catching homeowners in the afternoons and evenings that normally – yeah. And so, you're like, well, what? These are young guys. Well, you have 2 techs on call in anyway. Yeah. So if they run into something, burn something up. And then the one other thing we did is we identified a technician that is much better at fixing things. And we moved him to 12 to 8. So now we do the same day fix is a big deal, right? So we're finding parts in the morning. And if it's not on a truck, we get it ordered, we get it to the 12 to 8 guy, and he goes and puts some parts. If it's not compressors and coils, that's different. Yeah. But the other stuff, right?
Well, these guys are 8 to 8, so it's not that much different. But the 4 days off, I'm telling you, these young guys love it. Like,
that's good.
You're telling me I can get paid for 48 hours and get 4 days off a week. Sign me up.
Yeah, no, I'd work that schedule.
Right? Exactly. Heck yeah. You'd be crazy not to.
That's awesome.
And so, get your money out of your trucks.
Last thoughts, Kerry, and I'm going to, and I'm not painting this picture out of negativity. I'm painting this picture as struggles that people see, right? So we're at $4 plus gas right now. Right. There's lawsuits against the manufacturers because it's coming to light that there may have been some hinky stuff since COVID. There's all these things going on. There's so much noise around. Talk to that $4 or $5 million guy. What does he focus on from now until the end of December?
So number one is he's got to make his service techs heroes. So I want to go back to that, to that, because when they are in it to take care of their family, to feed their children, and you're saying to them, look, I can't pay you extra until you hit this magic number, whatever that number is for the week. But when you hit it, I can pay you 3% of your total revenue. When you hit this 4%, hit this 5%, 6%, 7%. What you do is you don't turn them into salespeople. You just get them to where they open their mouth and talk.
Mm-hmm.
Here's what I know. If I offer $15,000 worth of upgrades this week, somebody's going to buy 4,000 or 5,000 of it.
Yeah.
If I don't offer any, nobody's going to buy any.
That's
So
right.
if it's all about helping my kid or taking care of my kid, okay. And here's the other magic, getting them to think about the future. JG, I did some numbers this week. Do you know if a technician between the age of 27 and 37 would put $62.50 a week into the retirement plan and his company matched it, and he never put another dime in it after he turned 37, he'd retired with over $2.5 million.
Man.
For $62.50 a week. So you're telling me, wait a minute, you're telling me I can have $2 million if for 10 years I can sell $62 worth of accessories. That's what you're enough commissions are spent. I think I could do that for my kids.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just showing them a plan that is really simple, right? Now, if a guy goes, well, heck, I'm 37. Okay, same plan. 37, you just got to do 62 and 50 a week from then till you retire. But still, aren't you going to be running calls and talking about accessories? That guy can still retire with 1.6 million.
Yeah.
So the thing is, we all have the opportunity in front of us, but did somebody care enough to explain it, to show it to us, to help us believe it, and then help me to realize, like, I'm doing the right thing for my family. And by the way, if I go to Will's uncle's brother and I don't sell him anything, or I do this repair for free for him, Will's uncle's brother isn't going to buy me a Christmas present or invite me over at New Year's.
That's right.
So why am I doing him a favor? Because when I go to the gas station, they still want their $4 for the gallon of gas.
That's right.
So look, if my skill and knowledge is worth something, it's okay to charge every single person. The gas, company charges us, the grocery store charges. Guys, it's called doing business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right?
They don't give you a discount just because you frequent that gas station every week. They don't.
Exactly.
Oh, well, Will's here again. We're going to knock off 25 cents a gallon.
I wish.
It doesn't happen like that.
Yeah, no. You're right.
Well, Kerry, this was and again, I feel like the last 2 weeks we've really leveled up. Well, I'm not so sure how we're going to top these. Actually, we have Marty coming on, so it'll be another great one next week. So
I talked to Marty actually this morning. He called.
Oh,
me.
you did? Is he excited?
Yeah, but he had like a company issue with his ProTech business, and just need a little help on something. He has some advice. I was trying to help him, but
Yeah.
he's excited.
Love Marty. So Kerry, Marty is our very first official sponsor.
Oh, I knew you told me about him. Yeah,
he's awesome.
He's a good dude. Good dude.
He's a good dude.
cool.
He's
So
good dude.
JG, if anybody wants my services, would you be okay if I told them how they could get in touch with me?
Yes, absolutely. I would like for you to do that now, and then I want you to also send it to me because I will put it up into all the write-ups we do for all the videos we release. So,
Okay.
Kerry,
All
where
right.
can they find you?
Kerry at bgsstrategies.com, stands for Business Growth Solutions, but just bgsstrategies.com, or just give me a call or shoot me a text, 469-878-9322.
All right, and then we'll put that in the show notes as well, so people can just click on that. And then the white guy with a white shirt that only sits in the office.
I don't know if I own
say,
a white shirt anymore. I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah.
We'll say I will endorse Kerry Webb 100%. He has taught me so much in just the 2 years that I've known him, and truly is the reason that we were able to grow, or one of the reasons we were able to grow about 4 million in 2 years was really with Kerry's guidance and leadership. And so I would vouch for him.
And a lot of hard work from you and everybody on that team.
Sure.
Yeah.
They're a hardworking team for sure, but no, your guidance and your, the principles and stuff, it's been great. And I know the brothers appreciate you as well. So we can't wait to to talk more.
Yeah, it seems like, Kerry, like I said, a lot of this stuff, it's just like, it's like you hear it and go, God, that's just common sense, but execution and doing it is a different thing. And I think that's sometimes why, we need a little help, the industry, someone kind of go, hey, point this out, go, some of it's not, hey, I'm not degrading, devaluing anything. A lot of it's not rocket science. It's very common sense, but we just forget about it. We're caught up, like you said, in the day-to-day putting the fires out.
Right.
I hate any business hates working like that. I'm just constantly a drug over here. I remember an old boss of mine, I won't mention his name, but his initials are JB.
We talk about him a lot. He needs to start sponsoring us.
Don't let your day be driven by this, the phone calls. Have a structure and a plan. Of course, these are going to pop up, but have the direction of what you want to do that day. And then, of course, like I said, you work the fires and emergencies in there, but it's a lot said for that. And I think a lot of times we get lost in the day.
I was telling somebody the other day, somebody asked me, so kind of explain how Kerry helped you. And I was like, it's like this. I'm in the middle of a sword fight on a pirate ship, and I'm beating the hell out of this guy. And Kerry taps me in the shoulder and go, hey, take that gun in your belt and shoot him in the face. Because you're so busy sword fighting, and it's like you could have been done by now.
Well, if I tell myself I'm going to clean the garage or do something, I can let myself off the hook, right? Especially if I'm the only one that knows it. But if I tell my mom, hey, Mom, before you come over, check out our garage. I'm cleaning. It's going to look great. I'm going to clean that garage. I'm not having Mom come over. And that's what I think the coach does. It's like, I'm not going to have my coach come over and find out I didn't do what I said I was going to do.
Yeah. Accountability.
It just makes a difference. It makes a difference.
Well, back to the sword fight. That's a great scene from Indiana Jones, where the guy comes out, he's in the market, and he's got the sword. He just pulls out his gun, boom.
I'm telling you, that's me. I'm wielding my sword like crazy. So, Will, you have one last very important question to ask Kerry.
Yeah. So we sometimes we've gotten sidetracked because I think we've been getting caught in this. We're doing our stuff and we're talking.
We're sword fighting.
It's important. So, do you believe in Bigfoot? It's a serious question. I think he's been getting a lot of publicity lately. Him and aliens. It's a lot of stuff. We actually, folks out there, we've got an alien episode coming up in 2 weeks.
Okay. All right. So all my life I've said I don't believe in crap like UFOs and aliens and ghosts and Bigfoot and all this crap. But I went to New Orleans and I had my first ghost experience.
Uh-huh.
I am a skeptic.
JG, hang on.
And I am a skeptic, and I'm like, I can't say there's not ghosts anymore. Like it was real. So I did not make this shit up. It was real.
Give us the cliff notes on it, and I got one to reply to it with.
All right. So we were doing a little tour, with the Kerry tribe, and telling us all about the houses and everything. They said, we're going to go to John Lafitte's blacksmith's bar. It's the oldest bar in continuous operation in the United States since 1600 something. Wow. And they said, and it's haunted. And I said, yeah. How do you know it's haunted? And they said, the ghosts tug on your clothes. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not buying it. And they're like, they have a huge turnover of servers because of this. I'm like, yeah. Right. So we get there, and the guy driving the thing says, if you go to the front window, take a picture. Sometimes people will see an apparition or something when they get their photos. So, okay, I'll try it. So I go, I take a picture. I'm standing there. I'm just, bullshit. And I kid you not, something grabs the back of my shorts and darn near rips them off my pants. And I turn around and there's nobody there. There's nothing. I went back to the carriage and I was freaked out, guys.
Yeah.
It something grabbed a hold of my britches, and it wasn't just a breeze. I promise you, it gave a nice firm tug.
Wow. Well, I believe in any, certain things like that. I think it could be real, but we some of my stepdaughters said that our houses could be haunted. We live in, and so it's kind of funny. We were at family dinner, Thanksgiving, Christmas a year or two ago, and I brought it up. And they're like, "Oh, of course." You don't remember this and this happened. And it's like over 20 some. We've been here 24 years. So this has probably been I don't know, 2 or 3 years ago. I'm working on my laptop. I can't sit all day, so I'm standing at our like chest of drawers, bureau, whatever you want to call it, in the bedroom, and I get this like feeling like something's there, like looking at me, and I turn and look, and then I get this whole like cold goes across my body.
Whew.
It was
That's
weird.
I got a chill.
It gave me. I mean, it gave me a chill right now talking about it. But I was like, I could sense something was there, and then it was like this rush. So anyway, I'm not going to go in any more into that.
Girls
have
real.
There's a lot we don't understand. There's a lot we don't understand.
It's very real. So I'll add my 2 cents in. So my mother always used to tell these stories that my grandfather was asked by the Dutch Reformed Church to go exercise sometimes, like not like go run, but because they fought the witch doctors and African voodoo.
South African.
Yeah. My mom said she would sit in a room and a dresser will pick itself up on the one side of the room and smash itself against the other side, and just different things like that. And it's like those stuff is real, man, and that's why I read my Bible every day.
Yeah. Exactly. I won't stay on the good. I will stay on the light.
Yes, but if that is all real, then I am a big believer that there is a big hairy ape in the woods somewhere.
Smelling, evidently smelling, and he likes to scream.
Yes, and he eats a lot of jerky too, apparently.
Yeah, probably. Anyway, but yeah, so folks out there, we're going to do some UFO discussion because it seems to be like there's a lot of stuff coming out right now. So in a couple of weeks, I'll be down at Steve's place at the coast for our annual guys trip, and so I'm going down a night early, so you and I can. That'll be on the 14th, 13th.
Yeah, something like that. I'll put it.
No. That's next. It's the end of the month. It's the day, 2 days after Memorial Day. It's like 26, something like that.
Yep. So we will definitely get that typed up as well, because that episode is actually what kind of popped for us last year.
Oh yeah.
Not heating and air, nothing. It was a Bigfoot video that popped on TikTok. So I'm in. I'm all about it. So
you guys have me on again. This was so much.
Oh yeah. No, it's having a good time.
We're doing this cool thing, Kerry, where we're building friends of the show. And so it's like when we have a question, we can call you when you're on next week. Like it was really, Phil last week from the manufacturer standpoint, I feel like we have somebody that we can just call and say, hey, tell us what manufacturing thinks about this, right? And so it's really valuable for us and it helps us. And I want to do more things live and in person. So we need to figure out where the 3 of us can hook up at some trade show somewhere. And and just do this live because it's much more fun that way.
Yeah,
well, I'll tell you, my schedule just opened up. I'll tell you more about it, but you tell me where and when, I'll be there.
Well, you could always do the garage pub here in Raleigh. Will's been here; he's seen it. It's legit.
Did we get air conditioning in it last week?
Where the mini split, my son.
It's here, but it's not running yet. You're saying it's not connected.
Yeah, we're hooking that up either this weekend or next weekend, just depending what his schedule is, because I'm not crawling a crawl space running line sets anymore. I didn't always wear a white shirt. I used to run line sets and crawl spaces, and I'm not doing it. So, but yeah, we're air conditioning the garage, and then I'm going to put a door in, Will, so that we can still cook outside, come inside, and keep the air conditioning going.
Oh man, good stuff.
Well, my son's taking me out to dinner. Missus is talking off.
Your son's still talking to you.
Yeah. Well, mine is talking to me now. It was just that little spot there. We went through a tight rough patch for about 12 hours. Kerry, thank you so much for coming on. It was awesome, and then we will have you on again soon. Well, I'll see you next week when we have Marty.
Yep. Sounds good.
All right, guys. Have a great night.
Thanks, Paul.
Be blessed.
Bye.
Yep.
From the rooftops on to the midnight tune, there's a voice in the van humming right in tune. You can sweat all day or you can work that gold. Same tools in your hand, different kind of road.